Welcome to the BizNation podcast, proudly brought to you by Zinc Business Solutions, your home for micro and small business support. If you're looking for support in your business, join us on Facebook at Micro and Small Business Support Group. Here is your host, Kerry Zarb, to bring you interviews, hints and tips to help get you set in your business. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
On today's episode, we have an amazing guest, Jenn Donovan from Social Media and Marketing Australia. Jenn lives in a beautiful country town on the border of New South Wales and Victoria. Her social media and marketing business supports regional and rural organisations to leverage digital mediums to attract and engage their target audiences. Jenn points out the pitfalls, simplifies the algorithms, motivates the message, and most importantly, gets results. The proof of this is demonstrated with Jenn's efforts before Christmas last year, when she wanted to see more rural businesses succeed during a long drought. Jenn launched Buy from the Bush. And today, over 250,000 Australians use the Facebook group. It's massive and super popular. As a regional business owner, Jenn knows how to simplify the process of creating content that sells. Welcome to the show, Jenn.
Thanks, Kerry, for having me. Gosh, that was a very long intro. It's almost like, are you talking about someone else?
It was huge, I have to say, but I had to get all of it in there because it's just so important. When, I kind of put it together, it was a case of, there's nothing I can leave out here. It's just all really, really valuable stuff. And I have to say as well, I'm just personally love the fact that you've come on the show because I want to pick your brain so much about marketing. It's a huge space, huge.
It is a massive thing to get your head around, and as we'll talk a little bit later, it's something that tends to get put on the back burner.
Yeah, guilty. I'll put my hand up to that one, definitely. So let's start with some basics. What is marketing? What can you tell our listeners is the base of marketing for their business?
Yeah, Kerry, this was something that was drummed into me on my journey as a small business owner by my mentor I've had for many, many years, and that's marketing is everything. And I've carried that on into my business, and also it's what I teach my customers and my clients because it is everything. And everything we say and do says something about us, whether we meant it to or not. And if you live in a rural community or in a very small community, it's exacerbated. When I go to the supermarket, I'm still marketing. When I go to the corner store, I'm still marketing because everything is going to reflect back on my business and my branding. And so if more people thought about marketing as everything, then perhaps they wouldn't just slap something up on social media because they haven't done it in 3 days and they're in panic mode. They'd stop and they'd think, no, how is this going to reflect on my branding? So to me, marketing is everything.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. And why is it so important for small businesses to do marketing?
What a very curly question to ask. I think, I don't know how you can grow without being good at marketing, to be totally honest. I see a lot of, especially in rural towns, I guess, but even in suburbs and things like that, I see a lot of people, they have a really great business idea, which is possibly a fantastic business idea. They, dig in, they open the door, and then they wonder where people are. And, they're like, well, I've got this awesome product or I've got this awesome service if only more people knew about it. So until someone knows who you are and what you can do for them, it's awfully hard to grow a business. And I guess that's probably the most important bit is it is actually about them. It's not actually about you as the business owner. It's kind of like, what problems can you solve for them? And then it's putting the word out there. I guess, marketing is just finding the right people to hear your message because they know that you can solve their challenges and their problems.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so saying that, I guess a lot of us fall into this really bad habit as business owners where we'll actually just do a bit of marketing when we've got time And it's not really the way to go about it, is it?
No, marketing, I guess that's kind of almost my goal for life, is to have more people, more business owners realize that marketing has to be a priority. Just like, you have to open the door every day, you should be marketing every day. Just like, you need to pay those bills, you've got to do the marketing. It can't just be something to leave till the last minute or when you've got time, because let's face it, we never have time if we're not going to make it a priority. And the other thing that I see, which really drives me slightly batty, is that people will leave it, especially when we look at social media, they'll get like an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old to do their social media for them, because they think, oh yeah, they know social, and they do. But do they know your business, and do they know how to market a business on social media? They might know all the tricks and trades of being on social media, but they probably don't realize the power of it from a business point of view.
Yeah, so it's really important, I guess, in a small business, if you are going to outsource the marketing, to make sure that you're obviously outsourcing to the right person, but someone that's not only got the expertise, like you say, the younger generation, they understand the platforms and they know how it works and they get the tech side of things, but
Yes.
not really understanding the business doesn't necessarily make for the right recipe. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. And I guess a lot of business owners kind of fall short on knowing what to post on social media. I think that's kind of like the big barrier. And I think a lot of business owners undersell themselves, undersell what they know that other people would love to know. And, I know myself, if I put up, maybe a little tip or a little trick on social media that I've been using for ages, and then someone goes, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. And then it's just that constant reminder of, oh, okay, so not everyone does it that way, or not everyone knows about that. So, and I'm sure that every business owner has those tips and those tricks inside their head that they just assume that everybody knows. But I'm here to tell you that they don't. And you need to share those things. And they're probably some of the most valuable things that you can share on your marketing, and especially on your social media.
Yeah, exactly. So consistency is key. That's number one, is what I'm hearing from you. Consistency is key. Don't just look for the opportunities when you've got time to do it. Really, I guess what we want to do is have a bit of a plan in place, and have a bit of, like, there's all the, the whole strategy of marketing and that type of thing there as well. But at least having some kind of base plan to work from, rather than just hit and miss. Is that what you recommend?
Yeah. Absolutely. Having a plan in place for sure, making sure that everything you do, like, I say that we need to make marketing a priority, but it needs to all be pointing to that end goal. What's the goal of your business? Is it to make X amount a year? Is it to grow your list for email marketing? Whatever that goal is, everything you do should be helping you get to that goal. So it's not a throw mud at the window and see what sticks type of thing. It's kind of like doing it a little bit strategically as well, and thinking, okay, so if I post about this on social media, is that going to help me? Maybe it's only a micro conversion, a really small one, but is it going to help me reach that end goal? And I guess attract people who will one day do business with us, because we get a little bit hung up on the numbers and how many followers and how many likers and how many people belong to our group. But at the end of the day, the only metric we need to be thinking about is, are they going to do business with us one day? Because otherwise, having 10,000 followers on Instagram, if you only ever get one or two comments, then it's just a vanity type metric for you. It's not really something that's going to convert into dollars. And we're in business, so let's not make bones about it. We're in business to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess you've kind of sparked something else in my mind in what you just said. Like, having all those followers on Instagram doesn't necessarily convert into your sales, and doesn't necessarily bring, the clients to your business. So I think of that and I go, well, I guess we've really got to go back to some basics and start to work out where our potential clients are. What platform they might be on is probably quite important as well. So I guess, without going into too much detail, what do you recommend for the listeners as far as finding their clients and what platform to be on?
Yeah, I guess without knowing everyone's individual sort of ideal client and things like that, it's a little bit hard. But I guess my biggest thing with that is I speak to some business owners and say, they sell beautiful clothing for women between the age of, maybe 30 and 50. It's beautiful to look at, but it's also, a good sort of brand that people would love. And I say to them, so are you on Instagram? And the business owner says, no, I don't like Instagram. And it's kind of like, well, that's not actually the point. The point is your customers are probably going to be on Instagram. So therefore you need to be where they are, not where you're comfortable being the business owner. So it's sort of looking at it from that strategic point of view as well. It's just like, I do think that Facebook is kind of like, as much as it kills me to say, it's kind of like the white pages. We all just need to be on Facebook. I would love to say that we don't have to, because I do have some qualms about Facebook, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you're a business and people type your business name into Facebook and you don't have a Facebook presence, it's almost like that little tiny alarm bell goes off in their head and they're like, are they really a business? Because everybody is on Facebook. So whether you create content specifically for Facebook, of course, is the $1 million question. So if Instagram is where your customers and your clients and the people who are going to one day do business with you mostly are, then maybe Facebook is somewhere you share your Instagram content too. So you're still active on the platform, but you don't actually make content specifically for that platform. Or if you're a B2B, so business to business, and other business owners are your ideal client, and so therefore LinkedIn might be the place that you might want to hang out the most. So you create content for LinkedIn, but again, you might share it on Facebook, but it's kind of, you're not trying to create all the content for all the different platforms. You're choosing one or two where your people are, and you create content for that, and then you might share it on the other platforms, just so you've got a presence on there, I guess. Because trying to create content for 4 or 5 or 6 platforms is really, really tough. And don't get swept up in the moment. TikTok, unless you can, that's huge at the moment. And I must say, I am so addicted to TikTok as a consumer. It's awful. I've had to delete it from my phone because I'm spending too much time on there. But for me, I can't see a business strategy just yet for my clients and things like that. It just, so it's kind of like, don't just chase that bright, shiny object of, everyone's on TikTok, I need to be on TikTok. Or everyone's on Pinterest, I need to be on Pinterest. Think about it a little bit more strategically than that.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many options available. Like you say, TikTok, I'm a junkie as well. I just can't help it. I'm completely addicted. And you're right. I actually use it on the treadmill in the morning because I find it very motivating to keep going and keep walking on the treadmill as opposed to looking at nothing, and yeah, and then Pinterest is another rabbit hole in itself. But yeah, it's just, but I agree with you. I look at TikTok and I think, well, this is entertaining, but for me, it's not somewhere that I would put my business content necessarily. So I think you're right. We do need to be selective, and we can't just chase the newest shiny thing. But
I might eat my words in 12 months time. We might all end up on TikTok because all of a sudden we can see how, there's a bit of a strategy behind it. All the people that, who will one day do business with us might be on there and looking for that sort of thing. So I guess it's kind of like, don't dismiss it, watch the trends, but don't necessarily just go over there because you think it's the next best place for you. Just, I guess it's all about putting that strategy hat on.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some of the fundamentals of marketing that we need to get right? And I guess right from the start.
Yeah, I talk about, 4 fundamentals of marketing, of 4 key ingredients in marketing. The first one is message. You've got to know what your message is. It's like, where does that sit? What is your message? Who is your who? What do you want to be famous for? What platform should you be on? what sort of a brand are you? If I look at my business journey, I started off in law. I'm a very different person in this business than what I was when I was practicing law. So it's kind of like that was a different type of brand to what I am now. It's like getting that message, and it'll never be done. Like, marketing is a very much a liquid document. It is always changing. We are always, trying to niche it or fix it just that little bit. And the second thing is strategy. I think I've said that word probably 100 times already, and the podcast has been going for very long, but it's like, have a bit of a strategy. I find that so many people, when they come to me, that they might even be really quite active on social media, but where is it all pointing to? Is it helping you reach your goal for your business? And some people don't have goals. So, that's the first point, I guess, is, you've got to have goals so you can have a strategy to reach those goals, and not putting all your eggs in one basket, I guess, is the other part of strategy that I find people are only on social media. And it's kind of like, well, if it all went away tomorrow, do you still have a business? Can you still talk to your prospects? And if the answer is no, then we have a huge problem. So looking at strategy a little bit that way. Your methodology, I guess, comes back to, is the third fundamental, and it comes back to, what methods are you using? Email marketing, bots, social media, print marketing. Print isn't dead. You just need a really good strategy to use with it, and it works really, really well if you have a good strategy. When I had my retail shop, one of the best marketing we ever did was we had it was called the Queen's Club because we were the kitchenware queens, but we had like a VIP, and we would send out a bright pink envelope, and I guarantee you that everybody opened that bright pink envelope, because no one gets bright pink envelopes anymore. But whether they actually did the call to action that was inside of it was another story. But I can guarantee you there would have been 100% open rate on that. So print marketing can work really well as well. So it's thinking about that methodology that we're using. And the fourth fundamental that I talk about is mindset. It's like, making marketing a priority, realizing that, sometimes it's in our heads as to why we can't market, or we don't think we have anything to say. Because we just don't quite know what to say or how to say it. We just need someone to sit down and write it all down for us and have a conversation with us. But dealing with that mindset of making marketing a priority and not just doing it when you have time. They're the sort of four key ingredients that I talk about.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's awesome. So what's 3 tips that you can give a business owner listening now that could help them make marketing a priority in their business?
Yeah. 3 tips. Okay. So I guess if I go back to mindset, and I take the premise that lots of people think that they don't have anything to write on social media, I encourage people to think of the 10 most often asked questions that they get. We all have questions in our business that, if we really sat down and thought about it, we think, oh my goodness, I'm always asked about X, Y, and Z. It's like, okay, write those top 10 questions down, and then you can sort of, not only is that 10 pieces of content, but it could be 30 or 40 pieces of content, because you could do a graphic, you could do an infographic, you could do a video, you could do a blog, you could hop on a podcast as a guest and talk about it, and also, I guess, remembering that on social media, not everyone's going to see the same, what you put on there the first time. So, if you post something on Monday morning, then maybe something similar on Thursday afternoon, trying to hit those different demographics. So repurposing content is huge. So that's probably my second tip, is like, look at what you've already got and what you can repurpose, and realize that not everyone has seen that. If you've got 300 followers, there's every chance that maybe only 30 or 40 people saw that. And that's if you're lucky. It could be down to 5 or 10 if, the algorithm just sort of killed it. And I guess my third tip would be just to sort of build content that people will share. Shareable content is massive at the moment, and it's almost like word of mouth marketing is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get someone to share the content that we've already put on social media, so it's just not us saying, do this, or how good is this product, or how good is this service. We actually have other people sharing it, saying, oh my goodness, this worked for me, or this is a great tip, or sharing it with their audience. So what can you put on social media, or even through your emails, that's going to make people hit that reply button and start a conversation with you, or hop into your DMs in Instagram or your messages in LinkedIn and start having that conversation with you. And probably my final tip is, and I say it all the time, and I swear that people in my audience are so sick of me hearing me say it: human to human marketing. It's just H to H. It's just the way we need to market now. We need to start conversations and, answering people's comments when they comment on our things on social media, or encourage them to hit the reply button when we're doing emails and things like that. Let's interact with more people. H to H, human to human marketing.
Yeah, love it. Love it. And I agree with you there, because I think that's one thing that I've seen out in the marketplace is once you actually get to connect with someone, picking up the phone and having a conversation, or these days, with all of the technology that we've got, jumping on Zoom and connecting with someone, like you say, human to human, is just amazing. And if nothing else, you've made a great connection, and it's someone that's, front of mind for you, and likewise for them. And I just think it's invaluable, being able to do that.
We might sound like dinosaurs on this podcast, Kerry, asking people to pick up the phone.
I know.
Moly, that's almost out of this world to think that we can actually pick up the phone these days and talk to people. It's just so rare.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I still love it. Like face to face, as we know, with everything that's been going on in the world, it's interesting times. Technology. We've all had to adapt to new technology with the video conferencing, and probably spending more time on the phone than we did before. But I just love talking to people. I'm a shocker for having those conversations. So definitely encourage that where I can. My last thing for you, Jen, is what's something that you've had a bit of a positive out of COVID? What's something that you can share with the listeners that is a positive moment? It might be just a single moment, or, something in general for yourself from COVID. It's been such a negative time, and something that's, really resonated with so many people. Do you have a positive that you can share with us?
I probably have lots of positive. The first thing that comes to my mind, so my business is a lot of face-to-face workshops. So, February this year, my diary was fairly much jam-packed for about 6 months of doing speaking. And of course, COVID hit, and all of that disappeared pretty much overnight. And, it was kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? And I really found the one thing that's got me through this COVID period, and hopefully continue to, because we're not out of it yet, is my network. Reaching out to my network and not necessarily asking, what work do you have for me, but using that network to, just have conversations with and learn about different things. And yes, my network has helped me survive COVID financially. It's just been amazing. And I've always known that networking or having a network is important. But COVID-19 has just proved to me just how crucial that is. I can say, hand on heart, my business would be a disaster if it wasn't for all the relationships that I've been building over years, and keeping in contact, and, and just, hey, how you going? And having those conversations and hopping on Zoom and things like that. My business would be an absolute disaster. Whereas, it's grown just because of my network that I have. So I think we need to value that part of our business a lot. And if you have an email list, I'm a very big advocate for email marketing. But if you have an email list and you haven't spoken to them for 6 months, I'd really encourage you just to sort of get it out again and just write a really quick message of, hey, how are you going? Like, just care. And people will maybe unsubscribe. Absolutely. Then that's just the price we need to pay. And that's fine. Don't look at them though, because they'll just upset you. But just be open and honest and just start reaching out to, the people who already know, like, and trust you, whether they're prospects or whether they are just people within your network. And just say, hey, and find out how other people are going and start building your network back up, because that's probably been my biggest positive, is just seeing how valuable that's been for me.
Yeah, can't agree more. I think it's all about keeping those relationships going, particularly in tough times. I've found that people's care for each other has increased, which has been lovely to see. And I think for, like the reasons you're saying, more people are reaching out to say, hey, how you going? And people that I haven't connected with for 6 months plus, just sending them a message on LinkedIn to say, hey, where are you? Are you okay? That type of thing has been amazing. And for nothing else than just to, keep positive vibes going as well, I think is really good value and makes me feel good to reach out to people like that as well.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
So, Jen, where can we find you? Many
Wow.
places.
You can find me in lots of places. Look, my favorite social media platform does happen to be LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, I'd love to connect with you there. It's Jenn with 2 N's, Jenn Donovan. Love to connect with you there. But I'm on Instagram. I'm Small Business Made Simple, and I'm that because that is the name of my podcast, Small Business Made Simple. And my group on Facebook is Like-Minded Business Owners, and I've got an awesome little community. It's not a big community, but it's an awesome little community who are, full of fun facts. And also, we have a bit of a joke, but we do actually, get some pretty good answers to our questions in there as well. So, any of those places, I'd love to hang out with you. That would be awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'll pop all of those links and probably a few more in the show notes because you are everywhere, which is fantastic and I love it. So thanks, Jenn. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been great. And I'm sure the listeners have appreciated some of those awesome tips on marketing for small business.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for asking me. And yeah, look, thanks for thinking about marketing and making it more of a priority in your business.
Thanks for joining us for the BizNation podcast, proudly brought to you by Zinc Business Solutions, your home for micro and small business support. You can find us at zincbusinesssolutions.com.au. Tune into future episodes for more interviews, hints and tips to help get you set in your business. Until next time, stay safe, stay well.